Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I am your wonderful host, Fondoman, and welcome back to World of Warplanes. We will now continue our grind onwards towards the I-215, but first, there are some things that I'd like to point out. As you can see up at the top here, now Fondoman in-game, so you can now all properly designate me a priority target and focus me down before I ruin your game. Or, you know, help me when I'm in a spot. Maybe, just a little bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna get shot for having this. The things that I do for making things correct. And also, one other thing, because I realized this the last time that I stopped recording and I feel like a retard for this. We are on the Yak 9 right now, and the thing that I have been screwing up, some people have probably already yelled at me for it, but, you know, there's a bit of lag time between me recording and the videos going up. The thing that I wanted to clarify is that the Yak 9 with the 45, or the NS45, is not the Yak 9U. The Yak 9 with the 45 is the Yak 9K. I've been playing War Thunder for God knows how long. I see these things and they ruin my day in bombers. I should know this, but hey, nobody's perfect. But once we have this fully upgraded, we will in fact be a Yak 9K, which stands for Krapnoka Aliberni, which means big gun. So, now that I've properly gotten that out of the way, let's continue onwards. But I hope you'll forgive me for my occasional screw-ups with Soviet air design. It's actually really quite confusing. Just as an example here, the Yakolev development, it goes Yak 1, then Yak 7, then Yak 9, and then Yak 3, in terms of production and introduction dates. So, shit's really weird sometimes. But whatever. This is what I like about history, even though I, well, constantly get shit wrong. But whatever. My brain is the consistency of scrambled eggs at this moment. I'm trying to make that a little bit better, though. But enough yammering by me. Let's actually go play the game. We've got a gun to get. And it's going to be a long grind for that gun. It's 20,000. Oh boy. Now, let's see if everything is, service here? Yes. Aerial verification, so we can get 25% extra XP. Why not use those? I mean, we're going to be lacking the pneumatic restarter for our engines, but as we saw with the first game in the Yak 9, it's actually fairly maneuverable. So we shouldn't have that many problems getting shot to shit, but yeah, it may happen. So, this is a bit of a risk, but, you know, we'll be alright. Probably. And now the NS37, which makes us a Yak 9T, costs us 20,000, and we have 6,000. So, we have about 12,000 to grind before we can actually get back to what we were doing in the Yak 7. I have high hopes for this aircraft, though. Just by the handling alone, once we give this thing its actual, you know, stated armaments, or rather, like, needed armaments, the hitting power, the selling points of the armament, the selling points of the entire plane, I think we're going to see something pretty good here, which is really not unsurprising in a wargaming product. Russian things in a wargaming product being very good. I feel the balance. Yes, good. It all is as it should be in the Union. But, again, let's go play the game.
Attention! You are entering the combat zone. Get ready for battle. Good luck.
Okay, Scorching Sands. Dual military base loadout. Well, it seems like, as I've been saying before, the design of this new mode is very, very, very simple. It's in its infancy. So I think what they're probably doing with most of these arrangements is judging how powerful certain things are in a live game situation. So this is why we see the maps with command centers and military bases so heavily emphasized, as well as with the mining facility as well. So we're probably going to see this stuff for a while, but I don't think we're going to see this stay this way for long. They're probably going to get more detailed as they figure out exactly what's more important. Rather, what's effective, what needs to be changed, what can be, you know, what can be in a situation and still be balanced. So, things might be weird for a couple of months, probably for the rest of the year, honestly, but yeah, we're still probably going to have a good game as we go forward. Next thing I'm looking forward to is German bombers, since that's going to be an interesting time. But, well, let's focus on this game. Okay, 2 view fighters. This one is closer. Excuse me. Also, it looks like the enemy team has proceeded to rush their point. Hello, hello, 109. You are very threatening. However, you've got, well, 2 bots fighting each other. What is that? That's just the view fighter. Okay. I miss my gun. However, the Shivak is doing okay in terms of hitting power, I suppose. Get the fuck back here. Good. First one down. Unfortunately, that was outside of the point, so it didn't actually really mean very much. The AI are being tricky. They die outside of the zones which are important. I got an assist for that, didn't I? Yep, I didn't put the flash shot in. Sorry! Need to warm up my accuracy here.
The military base is ours.
Hey, look, an actual player. And he's dead. That's kind of funny sometimes. Sometimes the bots are actually more skilled than the players, but I'll forgive the players because honestly, most of the people coming in right now are going to be new because, well, this game did not have a very large player base, and the people who have been playing the game and know what they're doing are probably not grinding these aircraft. As you can see here by Sean here, rolling and avoiding 4 aircraft shooting at him for an extremely long amount of time. Anyone who rolls is a bot. Until the players actually probably get wise of how effective rolling is in those kinds of situations. Even though, yeah, you have 4 aircraft on your ass, you're probably still going to die. But you can potentially keep their attention and lead them into a bad situation. This is kind of what ground attack players are supposed to be doing, I think. Ground attack planes, especially the ones with no tail gunners that can't defend themselves and can't outmaneuver the enemy behind them, are actually sort of setters, I think. Whereas, they're so durable that it takes so long to kill them that the enemy fighters that are going to be hopping on their tail to shoot them down are going to be there for a very long time. And they're going to have to stay behind them in order to keep doing damage to them in order to kill them. Which means that they're exposing themselves in order to kill this one unit. Your team's fighters, or heavy fighters, are supposed to be taking advantage of this developing situation. This is what I presume. So, being a ground attack player, you're basically a decoy. At least right now. But it'll probably always still be a role for a ground attack player, because they start to, good, change the situation and present situations that the fighter players wouldn't normally want to put themselves in order for, you know, things to be a little bit more dynamic and potentially give an advantage to your team. Because if you let the fighter players run everything, what are they going to do? They're just going to go up to high altitude and they're just going to sit there forever and it's going to be a really, really boring looking game. Having it focused around the ground targets makes this a lot more interesting. That's one of the problems that War Thunder has. It's almost entirely focused around fighter combat. I'm being shot at by a gunner. Like what I said, playing realistic battles in War Thunder is like playing Counter-Strike where the bomb doesn't work. You have to kill everyone. That's the way you're going to win. And I see that a little bit in this game as well. Whereas playing, like, as we've seen, why I'm playing a fighter currently is because fighters are so much more effective at gaining control of points and basically deciding a game for their team. Ground attack players and ground attack aircraft are too slow in capturing points, which is funny because they're the main thing that is supposed to be capturing points. So you see where there's a bit of a disconnect here. What this means is, either fighter gameplay has to be slowed down by de-emphasizing the amount of points that a fighter player can rack up in terms of capture points and the like, or bomber gameplay and ground attack gameplay needs to be sped up to stay competitive. Excuse me, I want to get this kill. Goddamn, IL. Stormovik, please. Uh-oh. It's his player! Oh, no! My wing is out. This is gonna be awkward. My control surfaces are back in about 3 seconds if I can survive long enough, but I don't think I'm going to survive long enough. Ow. Well, we won anyway. Good.
We'll be waiting for you back home.
But you see what I was just saying. I went to go attack the ground attack planes, and then I put myself in a position where I was exposed to the Corsair to come down and try and kill me. That's what that does. That brings the fighter players down and puts them in situations where they wouldn't normally want to be. And it's a balanced situation because you need to go down there in order to kill them or you're going to lose the game. Or that's how it should be. Like I said, again, ground attack players need to be more competitive. They aren't right now, but you can see where it's starting to develop. And also, this is a good thing because, to reiterate exactly what I just said, if you let air-to-air combat be the deciding factor in this game, you're just gonna have a fucking really boring climb war. And that's stupid. Nobody wants to play that. This is a lot more exciting and a lot more interesting to watch, rather than, looking up and, holding W for 5 minutes. Actually, probably about 10 minutes. This is why War Thunder's gameplay is terrible and lacking, but it's not gonna see updates for quite a while because Gaijin's busy with tanks and boats. This game, it's its own game. The development team can do whatever the hell they want. And it looks like they've done exactly that, because I think Wargaming just ran out of ideas with how to make this game actually work, and they basically just said to whoever came up with Conquest and patch 2.0 in general, just do whatever. Because they didn't have any, the game was barely making money, most likely, because there was almost no one playing. It's kept alive mainly because it fits into the trinity with the other two games, World of Tanks and World of Warships. So, land, air, and sea. So you can't really not have this game there. It looks really funny. But, World of Warplanes was always the game that everyone just kind of tried to ignore as hard as they could in terms of, it existing. So, likely what happened is they just gave up and let the design team who came up with 2.0 just do whatever the hell they wanted. And this is what the result is. And what do you know? The experiment actually worked. Some people, apparently, according to some people in my comments, what could be enthusiastically called the player base of World of Warplanes prior to this update doesn't actually like 2.0. Well, I would say, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that the game changed and you're no longer getting the game that you were playing beforehand. However, you have to admit, the game is a whole lot better off like this than it was the way it was, because what you guys were playing before was a dead game. People are gonna say, no, it wasn't a dead game. There were a couple thousands of people playing. There was still functioning. Still functioning community. Everything was going okay. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. This is still not the best the game could be, but this is extraordinarily better. And the game is going to live and probably get better because of this. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but for once I'm on the side of the people kind of trumpeting the change here. In terms of, the game getting better rather than being on the side of the game being made worse. But you know me, I'm all about change. Anyway, rambling again. Sorry about that. Now, we've got actually a fairly large amount of XP from our 3X and the aerial verification. So, yay! Good. And our pilot is now at 100 efficiency. So good. He'll start actually gaining more crew points. Fantastic. And we did top of the board on both teams. As we should here, as the expert ace of the Soviet Union. Yes. So, now, durability test. What the hell is this? Destroy the required number of AA guns in a single battle and win the battle. I have to destroy 10 AA guns? Good lord. We'll see about that. We're a fighter. We're a multi-role fighter, but we're still a fighter. Where are we on the grind now? We have 8,000 more to go to the 37, and I'd like it now. I'd really, really like it. It would be nice. But, well, we still got a ways to go. So, back into the queue. Okay, decisive blow. It's one of these stacked maps again. See, they're testing. This map is probably just to gain metrics on the command center and how effective the bomber strike is. Which, if nobody's up there to stop the bombers, it's really fucking effective. That's about it, though. But you can, unlike the military base, you can shoot down the bombers, so it can be blocked and rendered useless if the team is actually doing what they're supposed to. If someone has a united defense against the bombers, they're not getting through. So it's kind of a mixed grab there. I wouldn't be able to say definitively whether or not it's strong enough or not. This is what the metrics are there for, because people at Wargaming have a big page of statistics in front of them that tells us, oh, well, you know, in the matches played on this game, matches played on this map,
Let's go.
it ends in victory for the defending team, you know, so-and-so amount of times, and ends in defeat or victory for the assaulting team, so-and-so many of times. So, right there, that's basically how Wargaming balances their stuff. They always look at the statistics. Which, unfortunately, makes them blind to certain things, like quality of life things, because those aren't statistic-based. Like, for example, World of Warplanes. I mean, World of Tanks, rather. World of Tanks, the mouse is kind of shit and uncomfortable to play, or has been for the majority of its lifespan. It was buffed recently, and then it was nerfed even more recently. Wargaming saw that the mouse was doing acceptable in terms of balance, even though it was unmeta and uncomfortable to play and useless in a competitive situation, and they just left it how it was. This is the problem that you run into. But, however, the mouse got nerfed because people can't handle something with armor in their game with gold rounds and medium tanks. And now, I'm here instead of there. So, we all find our way eventually. But you get what I mean. If the statistics don't match up with, you know, a problem people are stating, Wargaming isn't going to be so fast to do stuff. But I'm hoping that the World of Warplanes team is going to be fast to do stuff since, well, they have a living game now, which is a new thing after 5 years. So, yeah, hopefully they manage their player base a little better. Okay, so we have both control points, and I haven't done too much. I've been spending the first couple of, first couple of minutes for the last 2 games sitting here rambling on like an asshole rather than playing the game. But, well, I'm not at my peak effectiveness anyway, and that's a murder ball. I don't want to go near that murder ball. But then again, I got a murder ball behind me. So I'm just gonna circle around here and let the murder ball... I don't want to be at the front of the murder ball. That's what I want. I don't want. I don't want to be at the front of the murder ball. But this doesn't mean that the murder ball is a bad thing. The murder ball is actually very good. You stay in the murder ball. Why should you stay in the murder ball? Well, because it gives you and the people in the murder ball a sort of potential shield. Whereas any one player being attacked by this many aircraft is going to die immediately. You give the guys more targets to look at, it lessens the chance that you're going to be singled out. Or any one member of the formation is going to be singled out. Which means that you guys might potentially get something done. It's kind of lying, or rather, not necessarily a guarantee, but it's a hell of a lot better than trying to take on 5 or 6 aircraft yourself. It's really kind of morose when you think about it. You're staying with your buddies just so one of you has the chance to not get shot. But the fact of the matter is, one of you is going to get shot. That'd make a light novel plot, don't you think? Unfortunately, now I have a 0 on my ass. Boy. But, I know how to deal with zeros. We run. Uh-oh. Tail. Bad. Bad! Ah, I couldn't get away. I'm not that fast. Unfortunately, that's kind of the thing. I don't think the flight models are that well pronounced for that kind of gameplay, but if you play a Japanese plane, you definitely realize that you're going to be slow and you're going to be shit in a dive, which is historical. But something other people complain about the flight models not being, well, different enough. Or so I've heard from my comments. Ow! But I think they're all right for right now. Got you, bitch. It's about the one thing you need to do in order to, well, get rid of Japanese planes. You need to actually get away from them, or you need to flood them with targets. That's pretty much the weakness of Japanese planes. They're very efficient one-on-one fighters, but they're made of glass. Once again, the strength of the murder ball saving you from the strengths of the individual enemy players. Believe in the murder ball. Be the ball of death. Or rather, if you wanted to say it in a more refined manner, the formation. Murder ball is easier and comes to mind a little bit quicker, but, you know, sometimes you want these game terms that people throw out to sound a little bit better than what they usually, you know, come up with. But whatever, that's just me being, well, pretentious, I suppose. Okay, so what's that? That is...
Keep it up.
That is another bot. But then again, he's coming head on at me. Roll. Well, he's damaged, and now we're gonna point the nose down and run the fuck away. Also, this is what I should be saving my boost for. But I always just chronically fucking spam the boost, because I want to get places. And as you can see here, we are very quickly escaping the Zero's range. This is what you should be doing. Should. Unfortunately, it's leading us directly right into more players. One of them's an actual player, and it's in a fucking P-38. That's bad. I don't like that. P-38s scare me.
Be advised.
And now the bot has given up. And now we will reset this engagement, turn back in, and then sight up to Zero and finish the job. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. See, that guy's dead. What? P-47 is being, well, kind of finicky and sort of indecisive, but it's a bot. And as you can see, the rolling. Uh-oh, excuse me, boomerang, Jesus Christ. I have to wait until my Shivak actually calms down.
We cannot support you any longer. The
Slash.
is too heavy.
Well, look at that. Got it right at the end there. I didn't do very much, though.
Head back home.
I didn't actually get any of the chevrons. That's really unfortunate, even though I still did the most on both. Well, actually, no. This guy did the best on both teams. But I'm second place. So, good on us, I suppose. Anyway, back to hangar.